The annual For the Kids Charitable Auction is an iconic evening dedicated to raising awareness and funds for children and youth with multiple physical and developmental disabilities and associated behavioral needs. Here to tell us all about it are Kevin Cohane, President, CEO of CHEO and the OCTC, and our guests are some parents, and we have Cameron Best, who is a dad, and Betty Jo Rustanera-Han, who is a mom. And we're going to talk to you in just a few moments, but let's just get started with you, sure, Kevin, and talk about this charity auction. Tell me all about it.
So we're coming into our 21st year.
Wow.
So CHEO and OCTC amalgamated in 2016. So this is the second year that we'll be doing this as a combined organization. It's a really important event. You know, I think as you'll hear when our parents are speaking, you'll get a sense for the kinds of services that parents require and the kids require. This event is the main fundraising activities to support those activities. So I know there's going to be information on the screen about, you can go to cheofoundation.com, you can get information about the event. It's Thursday, April the 19th. You know, we'd love to see you come out to that, and if you can't make it, you know, please consider making a donation, and you're going to be helping the same activities.
I always say there's no bigger cause. I'm a mom of little ones, so I've made my trips to CHEO like so many parents have. There's no more important cause for parents in this community than CHEO, and so we're going to find out exactly why. Cameron, tell us about your daughter, Sarah.
Yeah, so Sarah's like any 5-year-old girl. She's a happy, fun-loving girl who wants to play with her toys and play with her dolls and just keep up with her brother Connor and her older sister Alana. Sarah and Connor were born about 2 months premature, and at about 1 month of age, we learned that as the result of an ultrasound, Sarah had experienced a brain injury at some point during the birthing process. And that brain injury was ultimately diagnosed as cerebral palsy. And cerebral palsy has many different forms, and it affects kids and people in different ways. For Sarah, it's physical. So she has limited mobility, uses a wheelchair to get around, and uses a lot of different assistive equipment, standers, walkers, and all those different types of devices that help her really function as any other 5-year-old would like to do.
Tell me how CHEO and the OCTC has helped you and your family, Sarah in particular.
OCTC and CHEO have been excellent and fundamental in our lives so far. Working through various pieces of equipment, as I talked about. Sarah needs assistive devices, and it's a daunting world when you're looking at expensive equipment, adaptive equipment, a tricycle that needs to be custom-made wheelchairs, standers, etc. And so all those equipment and all those different things that we've been able to loan and borrow and try and test out and then send back because it just didn't work, and then figure out the ones that did work it's been a phenomenal experience for us.
How does it affect you as a parent, as a dad?
You're never prepared for, as a kid or as a parent, you're always wanting the best for your kids, and it's something you're never prepared for. When you learn that diagnosis, it changes your path and it changes your world immediately. And to have OCTC and CHEO there to help us guide is unbelievable. My wife and I often talk about that OCTC is a bit of a haven for parents and for kids to be able to go in and communicate and connect with other parents who are going through something similar. Sarah's a student at the OCTC school, and she receives all of her physio, her OT, her therapy services in one location while learning through the curriculum, and they are so supportive on a daily basis, making after-hours phone calls just to make sure that as a result of a seizure, is Sarah doing okay?
Wow. They're there for you.
They're
there
there
really
for us
there
every
for
step
you.
of the way.
Betty Jo, let's talk about your son, Zach. Tell me about him and the help you guys have received from CHEO.
Thanks. So Zachy, when he was born, was diagnosed with having hearing loss. And so we were very fortunate to get him with hearing aids, and we thought, okay, we're okay. But at 5.5 months, he started having seizures. And with that, we realized that he has something called lissencephaly, which means that his brain didn't develop the way it was supposed to. Okay. And so when he started having seizures, his development took a huge step backwards. And we realized that for Zach to learn and to grow and to develop was going to need intensive therapy for him to learn how to do the littlest things, from eating to chewing to swallowing to touching, wow. But also to crawl, to crawl and to move, and now with OCTC, learning how to walk. So
It must be
That's
tough as a mom.
it was a world that I was not, I didn't know anything about before we had Zach, and none of our family did, and none of our friends did. And it is incredibly fortunate to have OCTC there, because it is an overwhelming task to figure out how to best parent a child like Zach. And because you're still a parent, but you have to, generally what's wonderful about OCTC is that the kids get the therapy, whether it's occupational physio or hearing therapy and speech therapy that they need, and Zach needs all of it, but they help their parents learn how to best parent your child.
For the needs they have.
For the needs they have, so that you can help at home, whether it's through standers or walkers or any of the assisted devices, to ensure that your child is learning and growing and developing so that they can do little things. Zaki now is 3.5. Is getting into the same amount of trouble as a normal 3.5-year-old.
That is good to hear.
Learning to crawl up and down the stairs, bouncing on his bed, banging on the fireplace. So that's all because of OCTC and the therapists that are there.
So it's pretty remarkable that CHEO and OCTC, they're not just there for the kids, they're there for the parents to help you as well, guide you along to how to meet the needs of your kids. Pretty remarkable stuff, Kevin, the stuff that CHEO is doing in OCTC. I think it's pretty evident in your stories right here why it is so important to support an auction like this, to support our local children's hospital.
It really is. I mean, I think Betty Jo and Cameron have both so beautifully talked about their own kids and their own experience. And from the CHEO and OCTC perspective, really it's all about teaching kids to learn, to communicate, to be mobile, and to be able to participate in the community, right? And so the kinds of things that donors help to support are the kinds of programs that allow that to happen. And I think, again, when you hear the parents speak, you understand what that means in their day-to-day lives.
Yeah.
And I think as donors to CHEO and OCTC, you can be really proud to know that you are helping to support not only the kids but the families, and that's really what it's all about.
At any given moment, any parent, any family in this community could need the help of CHEO. There's no greater cause to support than our Children's Hospital. Thank you, Betty Jo, Cameron, Kevin, thank you so much. Great opportunity to support CHEO is through the Charitable Auction. A reminder that For the Kids Charitable Auction is happening on April 19th at the Shaw Centre from 5:30 until 8:30, and you can find more information on our website.